Yo. Yo. The end of this episode, I did not see coming. Wow. Whoa. I did not see that shit coming, man. Oh, man. Whoa. Let me start here. I'm going to start with the story progression. I'm going to save the animation and the pacing and the character development for later, because I want to focus on the events that unfolded in this episode. Because this episode had a lot of important shit happen, obviously. We made a lot of strides in story. But before I get started, of course, episode link in the box below on Crunchyroll.com. Yo. First of all, you have what appears to be, because I say appears to be because we're not too sure about mine, but it appears to be 3 character deaths. You have Budo, you have Susanoo, and then you have mine. Now, granted, Susanoo, we can't say for sure if he's destroyed or not, because at the end of the episode, we don't get to see if Esdeath actually completely destroys him. Now, granted, it is assumed because Esdeath is more powerful than Susanoo. That's fairly obvious. And he knew that he was just there as a means of stalling Esdeath so she doesn't get Tatsumi and the other members of the Night Raid. So, the assumption here is that Susanoo is not destroyed. Furthermore, when it comes to mine, she passes out, but it's not as obvious that she's dead as opposed to, like, let's say someone like Chile or Chelsea, who it was very obvious that they're dead. Obviously, no doubt about it. So in mine's case, we can say, yeah, she's dead, but we're not too sure at this point in time. But it's a safe bet. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't see that coming. Like, my soothsayer powers were not activated for this particular moment. So that shocked me. And then Budo, which threw me off because Budo, he was someone who was hyped up to be Esdeath level. And he was pulling out some beastly ass shit. I mean, at one point in time, the dude's fucking levitating and shit, just calling for the lightning. Like, yeah, I'm like, damn, like, beastly ass shit. The King of Lightning was digging the lightning, but then he gets taken out anyway by mine, which I need to get to immediately. So after they have the whole, at the beginning, the deliberation meeting that they have pretty much in like the alleyway, and then they decide, you know what, we're gonna go see Tatsumi. They have their final respects for Lubba, which was, I guess, cool, and then they go skip over in time to the actual execution. Now, for me, I would have figured go in the midst of the night, and try and save Tatsumi then, but they said no, we're gonna do this in the midst of the execution itself. So for me personally, not really the smartest move, but whatever, it happened. And I gotta say, the whole Lubba planting these explosives beforehand, I find a little bit odd and convenient. I don't recall Lubba saying that, but apparently he did it, and apparently it just so happened to be in the midst of this Coliseum, this arena. So again, threw me off a little bit too convenient, like explosions, and then we just dive in there and save Tatsumi. Now, granted, it wasn't that easy because you had freaking Budo there and you had Esdeath there. So obviously, just can't have explosions and save Tatsumi. You have to fight against the ones that are pretty much blocking your way from getting Tatsumi. And then you had Akame actually go and grabbing Curcio in like some room somewhere. And Akame, because of that reason, for the majority of the episode was irrelevant. So basically you have mine and Leone versus Budo. Then you have Negenda and Susanoo against Esdeath. And Budo was so powerful where he immediately incapacitated Leone by doing some lightning shockwave of sorts, blocking Mind's attack at the same time paralyzing Leone. So she was incapacitated, she was done for the entire fight. So it winds up being Mind versus Budo, which throws me the fuck off, because again, Budo hyped up S-Death level. So the fact that Mind could take him out, and the way she was fighting too, it seemed very sloppy. Because Budo wasn't touched the entire fight. And Mind was getting repeated damage. And instead of... Because the only thing that Mind relied on was the fact that her pumpkin becomes more powerful the more she's in a pinch. So she relied on that the entire fight and kept getting damage upon damage upon damage. And then finally at the end, he delivers a huge attack, and then her emotions spike, and then Pumpkin does that final like giant laser and then takes out Budo. So in essence, Budo got one-shotted. And I'm not really a fan of that. Because when it came to the fight between Mind and Shiryu, that was far more of a tactical battle. Where in this case, Mind just appeared to be a lot more sloppy in her decision making. And instead of relying on wits and tactics to try and take out Budo, she said, fuck it, I'm just going to go in there, take damage, and then the more I'm at risk of dying, Pumpkin raises in power. And it winds up usurping the power of whatever the Imperial Arm of Budo was called. So again, that throws me off, and I find it very fishy, but it is what it is, and Budo is now dead. Then you go over to Nagenda and Susanoo against S-Death. Yo, this wasn't even remotely fair. I'm sitting here, I'm like, yo, dog. Like, come on, man. Like, yo. I mean, Susanoo powered up to its awakened form twice, mind you. And it didn't matter. S-Death continued to fuck with Susanoo. She's that high on a level where the awakened form of Susanoo that can take on a Destagul quite easily is no match for S-Death. And again, you have these convenient explosions of lava lying around. And when you have S-Death apparently in a corner, quote-unquote in a corner, explosions around her, the giant sword of Susanoo coming at her from the side that is going through all of her ice walls, she freezes space and time. It doesn't stop with S-Death. It really doesn't, man. Like, are you serious right now? Come on. Oh, come on, man. Like, yo, she's too powerful. She can freeze space and time. It's not fair. It's not. She can pull a Dio Brando. Are you kidding me? No, like it's not. I'm sorry, it's not fair, because she could already snap her fingers and like make glaciers, and then just drop them shits on you. In fact, from ice skills alone, she has a whole host of shit that she hasn't shown us, obviously, and that she didn't use against Susanoo. She just kept on using the flying ice spears, and that was it pretty much, and like an ice wall here and there, but that was it. But then we're just going to spike her power. I mean, the only thing that's fair is that she can use it once a day. That's it. Oh, like only once a day I can do this. But I can freeze space and time. And apparently she developed this skill recently because she did not want Tatsuki to escape ever. So before Tatsuki can escape, I'm going to freeze space and time. I'm going to pin his ass down. He ain't leave my side. Nah. I mean, the word excessive doesn't even cut it. That's just plain batshit crazy. And it's not fair. Like, it's you put her on such a high pedestal that in the future, you know that Tatsumi at some point in time has to reach that pedestal, and it looks impossible. It really does. She looks so powerful that she could solo the verse if she so chooses to quite easily. And it's ridiculous. It truly is. So, that wasn't even fair, remotely so. But Negenda, she does use the ability of Susanoo's Awakening for the third time, which I think shaves off years of her life. I'm pretty sure, because either she were to die from that, or she were to shave off some of her years of her life, which I think the latter is the case. And Susanoo winds up going on the full offensive while they run away, pretty much. Okay, so, again, that was pretty cool on Susanoo's part, and we can assume that he's dead. Tatsumi's carrying mine. Pasty white skin. Casper the Friendly Ghost knocking on death's door. She looked terrible. And I figure, you know, Tatsumi, they have a game plan. They're going to return back to the base. They're going to heal. They're going to treat her wounds. No. Because she's not like Leone. When she takes damage, in her case, it's more permanent. And lo and behold, took quite a bit of damage against Budo. So they have their final moments, which are touching. And then she passes away, which appears to be the case. Again, we're not too sure, but that appears to be the case. Now, for me personally, even though I slowly start to respect mine, among the Night Raid, she wasn't a fan favorite of mine. She just wasn't. So when she died, when she was gone, gone, when she was gone, I didn't really get an emotional impact like I did when Lubba died. So, cause Lubba, that dude, mad love, mad respect. But for mine, again, love and respect, but not as much. So, and for me, it tends to be the case because I'm not a big fan of Tsundere's. I'm just not. I'm really not. So, I mean, again, she's not a bad character. It's just that when it comes to Tsundere's, a lot of times I don't have that much of an emotional attachment. And mine just happens to be that case as well. So, overall, from that story standpoint, huge leaps and bounds. You only have, what, 4 members of the Night Raid. You have Akame, you have Leone, you have Negenda, and then you have Tatsumi. Because, again, you can assume that mine is dead and Susanoo is destroyed. And when it comes to the Jaegers, they only got Run, they got Wave, they got Kurome, and then they got the seemingly untouchable S-Death. Like, I don't think she's been wounded yet. I don't know. No, she really hasn't. It's come on, man. Come on. And then on top of that, I want to Dio brand Zaweldo. I'm like, get out of here. Oh, just stop. Stop. Crazy. And fucking Zaweldo. She pulled out Zaweldo. Like, niggas who don't watch JoJo's, they don't know. They don't know about Zaweldo. Like, fucking goddamn it, Zaweldo. So, to me, it's like, fuck. Like, they're really in a bind right now. The Night Raid. Even though things seem even in numbers, in reality, they're so far from. Now, the next episode preview looks like it's going to be Kurome versus Akame one-on-one. That's what it looks like. And they're going to finish what they started long ago. And I did call this beforehand. Kurome, she appears to be deteriorating in health. Dramatically so. And it looks like she's going to wind up dying anyway. So I called it. I said before, because Chelsea technically did kill Kurome, Kurome only survived because she had the drugs. So her body, over the course of time, was slowly deteriorating. And when she, in this episode, on bed, they're talking about how S-Death is going to execute Tatsumi because she loves him. And you have Kurome, she says, yeah, I can pretty much understand those feelings because the same thing applies for me and Akame. And she says, but I don't have that much time remaining. takes out like a chunk of her hair. I'm like, damn, I fucking called it then. She's done. Either Akame kills or either Akame kills her, or she dies in a few weeks, days time anyway. That's the way it rolls. So now we're gonna see this final fight between sisters in the next episode, which should be good. And going to the character standpoint as well, for a character standpoint, again, the whole Mine revealing her feelings to Tatsumi and how she really did love him at the end of the day, and how, I guess the reason why she fought in such a manner was because she was overwhelmed by emotions that she had for Tatsumi. Therefore, she thought, you know what, I'm gonna do whatever I can, even though I'm gonna be at immediate risk of my own life, obviously. And they always are, but in this case, particularly so because, again, it's Budo, and she was just running in there, which, again, to me was like, what the fuck? Like, this is so far from what you've done before, Mine. So, that was pretty emotional at the end. Her final moments, kissing him, and then passing away. And then Tatsumi having to deal with another burden on his shoulder, because another friend, in this case, someone that he genuinely loved, passed away in front of his face. And I mean, Chele was one thing, but Bulau, Lubba, and I guess Chelsea too, and fucking Mine. Yo, like, I feel bad for Tatsumi, because Tatsumi has to deal with a lot of friends' deaths, a lot of them. But then again, at the same time, they all did, because there were other members of the Night Raid before that we never seen before, and they died, because Lubba always talked about it. Remember how Lubba always used to talk about how he had a friend who would do A, B, and C, and he died because of A, B, and C. Something like that. So, again, I guess it's the whole process of being an assassin, where, yeah, we are humans, but at the same time, we have to throw away human emotions for the greater good of our mission. Which is a fascinating concept, because it sucks to be in that position that Taji's in right now. So, again, and I had the feeling that Mine was going to survive towards the end of the series. No. Dead wrong. Dead wrong. So from a character standpoint, very good, very emotional character interaction between Mine and between Tatsumi. And then finally, for that section, character development, Esdeath, who now it looks like Esdeath and Tatsumi have a very, it's more one-sided. Because Esdeath sees Tatsumi in the same way Kurome would see Akame, but not vice versa. Tatsumi does not love Esdeath. Tatsumi can't be with someone who is all about just destroying and torture, who lacks empathy, who lacks a very human emotion. She lacks it completely. She has none of that shit. So he can't be with her, obviously. And plus, their ideals differ in so many ways, in so many degrees. So, someone like Mine, who could relate to Tatsumi, who they've been together, they've been through a lot of trials and tribulations for a long period of time, Mine and Tatsumi. They clearly grew a bond, but that bond does not apply to Esdeath and Tatsumi. It's one way for Esdeath, because Esdeath, Tatsumi just happens to fit the type of man that she wants. But Tatsumi, again, not the same way. So, in her mind, killing him would be the best option to display her true emotions for Tatsumi. Just how the same thing happens between Akame and Kurome. So, it's fascinating to see that character development proceed in that fashion with Esdeath, and not for Tatsumi. So, their final battle, it could be very relevant. If there's going to be a final battle between Esdeath and Esdeath, which I don't see happening. If Tatsumi had any chance of beating Esdeath, it's only because she has an emotional attachment to Tatsumi, which could hinder her when it comes to fighting. Just saying. Finally, the last 2 parts of the episode, the pacing was relatively okay. The animation could have been better. I'll be very honest about that. It could have been a lot better. It could have been a lot smoother in a lot of parts. But overall, it wasn't bad. It was okay animation. So you have okay animation, you have okay pacing, you have pretty substantial character development when it comes to Estes, Tatsumi, and Mine. And then finally, you have huge story progression and 3 character deaths. You have 2 probablys and you have 1 confirmed. Budo is confirmed because that burned hole in his chest, yeah, he's done. Unless you're fucking Ichigo. And then you have Susanoo, who's destroyed, and then you have Mine, who passed away. So overall, the episode, based on story alone, I'm giving it a great. But everything else only goes up to a great plus, because again, you have good character development, but the animation could have been a lot better, and the pacing could have been also, it could have been structured better as well. But overall, it was great nonetheless. So I will see you guys later. King Lightning, rate the video, comment, subscribe. Peace. Have a nice day. Rest in peace, Mine. Rest in peace, Susanoo. And my nigga Budo with the lightning, even though you were a bad guy, rest in peace, because the King Lightning respects the light. Have a nice one.